Time for the lions. Tell them one story. Listen to the lion voice, yeah? Up.
The time has come for the lioness to tell her own story.
So that's just a little bit of the facts that are in the book. For more information, do your research. The Kefu Khan, the great drought. You know, people like to blame His Majesty for the drought in 1970s, the propaganda that was put against him. But if you don't know about the Kefu Khan, and then you can see after in the 80s that's another massive drought, then you would know that um, there's only so much that can be done. When His Majesty opened his borders for foreign journalists, the hope was that they would be doing it to bring support to the country. It was twisted into a smear campaign to discredit Haile Selassie, the architect of the modern Ethiopia. And then you have the nerve to come talk about why you feed him lion there. This is a disrespect that you get, you know, when you follow your purpose. So as the Rastafari man standard, just know that when you're on your purpose, they come with the BS sometime, and we have to be able to stand up.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice. Well, front to us a son was born and a child was given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called the Wonderful Counselor, Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Them call him Lidj Tafari. When he was born, rain fall from the sky. Them call him Lidj Tafari. When he was grown in airplanes he fly. They call him Lidj Tafari. The lion break the chain, weep not, don't cry. Them call him Lidj Tafari. Read your Revelation chapter 5 verse 5. Then born near the city of Harar, the inspiration for Bob Marley's guitar. People crowd him like some big superstar. It no matter if England or Cote d'Ivoire, no matter if you're brown or black like Qatar. Haile Selassie I fi end all tribal war. A time fi gather Mount Zion, fi drive solar car from the car straight to Zanzibar. Who we are, the sons of Lidj Tafari. When he was born, rain fall from the sky. Lidj Tafari. When he was grown in airplanes he fly. Then Lidj Tafari. The lion break the chain, weep not, don't cry. Then Lidj Tafari. Read your Revelation chapter.
Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of his chosen queen, Empress Waziri Menen. My name is Kwasi Bonsu, aka the Dejazmatch Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Panafrican Happy Man. I'm an entertainment attorney, I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an actionist, and right now I'm the host of the Lion's Voice. Welcome to the Lion's Voice Network, and welcome to the Lion's Voice. I want to just take time before I do anything to big up the Lion Pride. Big up the Lion Pride on Patreon. How do you become a part of the Lion's Pride? If you subscribe, you're part of the Lion Pride. So big up all of the Lion Pride. I just want to say forgive I and I that I may have noticed some shifts in the release schedule. We've tried to keep something consistent, but Lion Law we haven't recorded in some time. I just recorded a couple of episodes, so we're gonna start getting that forward again. I've been traveling. I'm fresh forward from the Habesha Leadership I Treat or Sipsaba. We don't say retreat in Rastafari because we don't retreat nor surrender. We say I treat or we say Sipsaba, which Sipsaba coming from the Ethiopian word, Amharic word for meeting or gathering. We had a leadership gathering to plan out the next 5 years of Habesha. Many of the items know I'm a board member of Habesha. Just launched the KWASI project in 2022. So now we're moving into the operations phase, into interconnecting and again building out the ecosystem for Habesha. So Habesha will be doing a lot more content focus in line with what we're doing here on the Lions Voice Network. So you're going to be seeing a lot more of Habesha programs. The urban agriculture movement down south is one of the amazing things that is happening through all of what's happening. And I interviewed my brethren Ras Kofi on one of the episodes. You can see we went to his garden in Atlanta, but all over the south, farmers, black farmers rising up on the land. It's a beautiful thing to see. I feel proud to know I have brethren and sisters that are farmers. If America drop down tomorrow, we can jump in on my vehicle and drive south. I mean, no, so amongst a community of farmers. So that's so crucial anywhere you are. And that has to be part of the Rastafari man standard. We're going to talk about that in future episodes. But all of that to say, it is July, family. So you know what that means. It means that we are taking time to examine the birth of our Blessed Majesty Lidj Tafari McConnell for this entire month on the Lions Voice Network. We are giving you content related around the birth and the origin story. I am an author. I wrote Haile Selassie I, Ethiopia, The Rise of the Priestly Warrior Kings. This is volume 1. And this is a story about the birth of His Majesty all over the world on July 23rd. Rastafari community celebrates His Majesty's birth, just as the Christians would celebrate Yeshua on December 25th. Rastafari will celebrate the birth of His Majesty on July 23rd. But we do it with praise and thanksgiving. Nyabingi Isis, some 12 tribe of Israel usually have some shows or dance or some celebratory occasions. And things have sprung up all over the earth. July 23rd is the first day of Leo. So you're entering into the house of the lion in the astrological heavens. I wrote about all of those things in my book. I wanted to read a little bit of the first chapter of my book, just to give you a little vibes of the fullness of this epic story. So today's episode, I want to talk about the great famine that struck Ethiopia prior to the birth of His Majesty. This is one of the seminal aspects of the birth story that we talk about. 3 years of drought that almost crippled the land of Ethiopia. It was at a very delicate time. Emperor Johannes had just been murdered, killed on the battlefield, defending Ethiopia against a jihad invasion from Sudan. He died on the battlefield. Emperor Menelik rose to power. And this was a terrible, so you had war, followed by famine, followed by pestilence. You had typhoon. You also had the Italian cattle virus, a rinderpest that came in through Eritrea, that ravaged through the nation, the livestock. The Ethiopian oxen had no natural defense for it. It said that 90% of the cattle in the country perished during this famine. 1/3 of the people died. You had massive upheaval, people leaving their ancient homes, migrating Tigray. These provinces were decimated. Emperor Menelik marched the army, was about to march an army to Tigray to put down any rebellion from Emperor Johannes' son Ras Mangasha and the famous General Rasta Lula. And he had to turn back because Tigray was so ravaged he couldn't sustain an army marching in there, and they had to ensure Shawa could manage. This famine is not talked about enough. So this famine was called the Kefukan, or the evil days. And One of the reasons that I could write my book like an epic fantasy like Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings or Marvel Universe or DC Universe or all of these things that people watch, one of the reasons I could write it is because of these type of historical facts. You know, His Majesty, who would be the protagonist in a fiction novel, born at a time where it's ending a famine with falling rain and his first cries are drowned by thunder, you know, and I have connected the dots that that's most likely one of the reasons Ras McConnell gave him the name one to be feared or respected, because you can imagine when thunder clap, especially after a drought, no rain for over 3 years, and then thunder and lightning start clap and lightning start dancing at the sky, and you have your little baby boy, one to be feared or one to be respected, one to be revered. You have to try put yourself, no, it don't mean say it go so. But I'm saying we can take license, historical license, and connect some dots and present the facts beside each other and let the reader draw the conclusions. But I want to read the first chapter, or from the first chapter. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Buy the book just so you can get an idea how we open, how we set the stage. And the first chapter is entitled The Evil Days. And we quote first from Isaiah, "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace." And, we use that to kick off the book because all of those titles were given to this same baby boy that I wrote about in this book. Put aside if you think he is whoever you think he is, this, that, all of these titles were given to him. So we present the facts, let the people come to their own conclusions as they want. Some people burn up Bible, they don't want to hear nothing about that. That's their prerogative too. They come to another route. At the end of the day, every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that he is who he say he is, which is the King of Kings, conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah. It says, his first cries were drowned by thunder. Thunder signaled the triumph of his birth. He lived. He survived the perils of childbirth. All his brothers and sisters had been miscarried, delivered stillborn, or died shortly after their birth. 8 children conceived, 8 lives claimed. The angel of death would not claim this child. No one witnessing his birth could have known his battle against death was only beginning. However, in this moment, the moment of his birth, he was victorious. Death did not prevail. The woman who surrounded his mother and the hundreds of people who anxiously awaited his arrival were witness to a thunderous welcome for the boy child. Their anxiety was partially because it was believed that the boy's mother's previous misfortunes with childbirth were caused by a curse. Almost immediately after his birth, the baby boy was taken from his mother to distance him from any curse that may have afflicted her. No one could have known the power of this child, or that he would forever change his ancient realm and kingdom into a modern nation. No one present could have known that he would inspire billions of people, be praised as a living manifestation of the Almighty, hated by some as a tyrant, or that he would forever change Africa and the world. For a moment, the moment of the birth of the baby boy, the angel of death was defeated, and evil was forced to retreat. On July 23rd, 1892, in that mountainous land, in the midst of a crippling drought, the heavens opened and released life-giving water. The land, scorched by the seemingly omnipresent sun, was granted relief. The rain fell relentlessly from the sky and replenished the earth. Let me just give you a little bit more. We want to take the time to big up our sponsors, big up CMOS. CMOS, get the structure together, make sure that you're drinking your essential minerals, all the good things that come with the CMOS. Big up CMOS for seeing the vision and sponsoring. I also have an interest in CMOS. The company is so beautiful, I said let me invest some resource and time into making this thing global. So big up CMOS, big up Ramia King Design with the tumblers again, hot, cold, liquid. I have my Emperor when I'm working. It really helps store the liquid, keep the liquid at the temperature that the liquid needs to be. It comes with a straw too. Send them an email, visit the Facebook, support. Also remember, you got the Reading Rust merch, t-shirt. I got my t-shirt with the red, gold and green outline, the Reading Rust logo. You see, fresh. Reading Rust bigger than your Jordan. You tell them that because everybody read, not everybody can play basketball. Delusional? Let us see with time. I like to say aspirational. We have to reach for the number one if we ever want to attain it. So support the Reading Rust merchandise and all of the sponsors. And if you want to become a sponsor, reach out, AskLionsVoice, email or drop a comment, and we find out how we can connect, and we'll make it happen. This is a growing platform. We give thanks for all of the support that's coming forward. Now, forward to the topic. Let me give you a little bit more. An end to the evil days. There is a land that is far away from the modern centers of power, where the sun has always dominated. A land of 13 months of sunshine. A land of towering mountains that, until the modern era, was shrouded in mystery. A land more ancient than recorded history. This land is the land of the people with sun-kissed faces, the land known as Ethiopia. The ancient Greek historian Homer referred to the majestic realm south of Egypt as the land where the gods love to feast. Inhabitants of the land in 1892 called it Abyssinia. During the drought, the gods of Homer's writings were nowhere to be found, as famine showed the land no mercy. The angel of death reigned unchallenged. All the kingdoms of the realm were affected. The famed leaders from the great houses and their august sovereign had no answers. Kingdoms of Gojam, Begemdir, and Showa were forced into submission. The kingdoms of Tigray, Wollo, and Yeju were pummeled with punishment. Even the kingdom of Kaffa and the kingdom of Gondar, capital of ancient kings, were brought to their knees. The drought had plagued Ethiopia and the city of Harar in particular since 1888. The coming of the rain was not a sudden event. Days earlier, black clouds had slowly amassed in the sky, signaling the coming relief to the years of drought. The sky grew dark, rain showered the earth. Falling rain was bringing an end to the evil days. Those evil days, or KWASI'S, as the people throughout the kingdoms called them, had arrived with drought. The days and then the years of the KWASI'S made them a demon's paradise, as if the omnipotent Almighty had forsaken the land where the gods loved to be. It was as if the angel of death's forces of darkness had been permitted to reign over the Almighty's peculiar treasure. The Lord of Flies let loose his armies. Parts of the land were seized by suffocating swarms of tsetse flies, while caterpillars and locusts destroyed most edible crops. A menacing plague accompanied the drought, killing 90% of the cattle in Ethiopia. In some places, the bodies of dead cattle seemed to stretch to the horizon, and the stench of death stifled the air. Dead cattle provided the perfect habitat for numerous diseases to thrive. smallpox, typhus, cholera, influenza, and it was not long before human bodies were added to the landscape. Disease impartially searched the crevices and corners of crowded cities, encampments, and villages alike. There were mass migrations across kingdoms as people uprooted from their ancient dwelling places to seek refuge from the relentless famine. So, just a little style of how the book is written. So you can see Haile Selassie Ethiopia. This famine was so important because again, it's the opening scene of an epic tale, epic story that we have been blessed to be able to start to tell. So that's just a little bit of the facts that are in the book. For more information, do your research. The Kefu Khan, the great drought. You know, people like to blame His Majesty for the drought in 1970s, the propaganda that was put against him. But if you don't know about the Kefu Khan, and then you can see after in the 80s another massive drought, then you would know that um, there's only so much that can be done. When His Majesty opened his borders for foreign journalists, the hope was that they would be doing it to bring support to the country. It was twisted into a smear campaign to discredit Haile Selassie, the architect of the modern Ethiopia. And then you have the nerve to come talk about why you feed him lion there. This is a disrespect that you get, when you follow your purpose. So as the Rastafari man standard, just know that when you're on your purpose, they come with the BS sometime, and we have to be able to stand up and give thanks that now His Majesty, we can't see him physically again, but all over creation, the youth have risen up, red, gold, and green, the Lion of Judah flag fly in every country. The works are rising and multiplying. Rastafari is coming together in all different spaces. We have many unity and unification initiatives happening. I'm part of many of them. So this is part of the glory. So we give thanks, but this is again part of the history, part of the story that we must transmit to our youth. Them, the Kefu Khan, the great famine that preceded the birth. This is one of the miraculous, amazing facts that come with the origin story of Kadamawi Haile Selassie. So be sure to get in tune. We're going to come with a book club. We're going to we're going to do some lives where we go through the chapters of the book. So get your copy now. Before we do that, we'll announce when that happens. We'll have panels of people talking about the book. You can follow along, ask questions. We'll do some live streams, a whole series of things around the book and content around the book here on the Lion's Voice. So get your copy so you can be a part of that. It's going to be full. We're going to do some deep dives into Ethiopia, Pan-African story, and how we can connect the dots as we move forward to repatriation and the ultimate liberation and unification of the African continent and diaspora. Big up. I want to start writing volume 2, but we're going to need to build up financial resources because I want to, for volume 2, be able to actually go to Ethiopia and do some research at the university and at certain places. So the more you support the channel, you support the Patreon, the quicker we can get a volume 2 going. And remember, we are building the Lion Pride on Patreon. Big up all of the Lion Pride on Patreon who have invested in the platform and building up the platform. We have big plans. We want to create animation, feature films, all of those things after the life of His Majesty to teach the next generation. Just saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. We never love certain things in it, but one of the things that we love is the style of animation. And we think, what could we do if we were telling our story, Rastafari, African stories with this level of animation, how we could really penetrate the youth them and create great entertainment. And that is, part of my mission here, building this platform. The Lion's Voice Network is to get to that level where we can produce. We're going to build a production studio in Africa So following this channel, you're going to follow that journey. How you see I and I right now is not how you will see I and I in 10 years. Just know that. So big up everyone. Again, it's July. The Earth Strong of His Majesty is around the corner. We have some special content that we're planning for that timing. And again, we're just trying to ensure that we can do the best thing that we can do. Why? Because the time has come for the lions to tell our own story. And this is the Lion's Voice.
Lion voice. Well, for unto us a son was born and a child was given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called the Wonderful Counselor, Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Them call him Lidj Tafari. When he was born, rain fall from the sky. Them call him Lidj Tafari. When he was grown in airplanes he fly. They call him Lidj Tafari. The lion break the chain, weep not, don't cry. Them call him Lidj Tafari. Read the Revelation chapter 5 verse 5. Then born near the city of Harar, the inspiration for Bob Marley's guitar. People crowd him like some big superstar. It no matter if England or Côte d'Ivoire, no matter if you're brown or black like Qatar. Haile Selassie I fi end all tribal war. A time fi gather Mount Zion, fi drive solar car from the car straight to Zanzibar. Who we are, the sons of Lidj Tafari. When he was born, rain fall from the sky. Lidj Tafari. When he was grown in airplanes he fly. Lidj Tafari. The lion break the chain, weep not, don't cry. Lidj Tafari. Read the Revelation chapter 5 verse 5. Royal governor from the age of 13 years. Leave the palace, fi go back in a school with him peers. He's the head without fear, he's one to be revered. When them call his name, then the heathen scare. Plus the priest concerned, and him teachers concerned. Cause all this little youth want fi do is just learn. But he wait his turn, till him turn the Dejazmatch. The people rejoice when him crown as the Rasta call him Lidj Tafari. When he was born, rain fall from the sky. Then Lidj Tafari. When he was grown in airplanes he fly. Then Lidj Tafari. The lion break the chain, weep not, don't cry. Then Lidj Tafari. Read your Revelation chapter 5 verse 5. Well, Rasta call a meeting with all him general. Them say him funeral a come, and him have something fi tell them. Him say, we fight together since the days of Adawa. Him say, protect my son and help him unite Africa.